Hey guys, welcome to Digit.in, and what we have for you today is our review of the Sony HT-A7000. This is Sony's absolute flagship premium soundbar, and it's a modular soundbar. So what do we mean by it's a modular soundbar? Well, let's get that out of the way first before we actually dive into the performance of the soundbar. So modular soundbar means that you could buy one component now and buy the other components later. And what Sony has done is it's packaging the soundbar with two different options of subwoofer. You have the SW3 and the SW5. The SW3 is a slightly cheaper, a slightly smaller subwoofer. The SW5 is more of the flagship subwoofer. You can also buy the rear surround speakers separately if you want, and just so that you're very clear on the price of these permutations and combinations, we're just going to leave it up on the screen for a couple of seconds in this card so you know the price of the soundbar and the two options of the subwoofers and the surround speakers itself. Now, this is actually a very interesting proposition because based on the layout of your room, based on what you want to experience, you can pick this up as either a package deal or you could pick up the components separately. Now, when we talk about the build and design of this soundbar, the one thing to note is that it feels absolutely premium and it's really heavy. Now, it isn't as deep as, let's say, the Sennheiser Ambio that we reviewed some time ago, and that's actually good because that may give you some space below the TV. It fits relatively comfortably below a 55 or even a 65-inch TV, and it does demand a commanding presence. But the good thing is, once the lights go down, you can barely notice the presence of the soundbar, which is really good. It has 11 drivers overall, 7 front firing ones, 2 beam tweeters and 2 up firing drivers to give you the surround sound experience. That's in the soundbar alone. The rear surround speakers, each of them has a tweeter and Sony's, of course, X balance speaker to give you a surround effect. Now if you go back and check out our review of the Samsung 950A soundbar, you will know that surround speakers that came with that soundbar had actually 3 drivers firing front, side and upwards to give you a surround experience. So I was a bit concerned as to the performance of the surround effects of the speaker, and we are going to talk about that in the performance section. Now, the build of all of them is very premium. Once you lift up one of the rear satellite speakers, you know that it's heavy and it has this really nice grill finish in front, which is covering each of the drivers. There's no fabric out here which is going to catch dust, but there is fabric on the soundbar itself, not everywhere, just around the up firing speakers and a little bit on the side where the beam tweeters are, and that's okay. The entire front also has this really nice grill finish to it, which gives it a very premium look. And on the top, a majority of the top is covered with glass. Glass can get scratched and dusty really easily, so I would recommend you keep it as clean as possible as often as you can, but that is just something that's a personal preference. There are touch controls on top, and I'm not a fan of touch controls on a soundbar, but then again, how often are you going to use that? Because you also do get a very nice and simple remote control in the box. When it comes to the connectivity options of the Sony HT-A7000, it is completely loaded. One of the highlight features is, of course, HDMI 2.1, and it comes with an HDMI 2.1 cable in the box. You get 2 HDMI pass-through ports which support HDMI 2.1. As of recording this video, there is no update. The update is not yet live for these HDMI ports to support auto low latency mode and variable refresh rate, but that is something that is expected to come as an update. But so if you have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X or an Apple TV 4K, the new one, which are all HDMI 2.1 supported devices, you can actually save a port on your TV by connecting it directly to the soundbar if you want. It has 4K at 120 Hz pass-through as well, since it supports HDMI 2.1, which is great. It also has optical 3.5mm Bluetooth and also supports Wi-Fi in case those are connectivity options that you are looking for. For the duration of our review, we used it primarily with the HDMI ARC connected to the TV, and of course we played music using Bluetooth. Now, when it comes to performance, here is one thing that I have always said when reviewing Dolby Atmos soundbars, is that, you know, even with up-firing drivers, there are times when it makes you feel like the sound is coming from somewhere in front above you, but not directly above you. And I'm very happy to say that that has kind of changed out here. Now, don't get me wrong, there is still, the debate is always going to be there whether you should get a dedicated home theater setup where you will mount the speakers on your ceiling to get that true Dolby Atmos effect. But there are times during the course of my review of this soundbar where I actually looked up in a particular direction where the sound was supposed to come from, and I felt that the sound came from there. Now, before we get into talking about specifics of content, of course, we can't show you the specific content because of copyright reasons. We are going to play some sound demos for you. One is, of course, copyright-free music, and some gameplay using a PS5, so you just get a general idea of what the soundbar sounds like. Okay, now that you've heard that demo, here's diving deep into the performance. Ready Player One is a great movie for Dolby Atmos content, especially for the race at the 13-minute mark. And boy, oh boy, from the music that engulfs you from all the angles to when the cars are jumping off the ramp and King Kong is coming to destroy things, this is that one sequence where I actually looked up in different directions to see whether the sound was coming from above me. Also, my concern with the rare surround speakers of the fact that it only had drivers firing in one direction. Remember, I placed this at an ideal position, which is about 4 feet away from me, facing me almost at ear height, and I could feel the sound move from a little behind me to my side, right in front of me where it was supposed to move, and even up top in a particular cases. Now, the Dolby Atmos effects weren't perfect, but they were really good, to the point where I can say that if you are looking for a Dolby Atmos experience to feel the rain coming from above you, you can consider this soundbar. One thing to note is that there is an immersive AE button on the remote control, and I recommend you leave this on and forget about it, because it just widens the area from where the sound comes and gives you a much better surround experience. For all the content that we consumed, I did move the surround speakers around just to see how well they would perform if one was slightly closer, one was slightly further away, and you should calibrate the soundbar, go into the settings and calibrate the soundbar each time you move any of the speakers around, because it does adjust the output based on where these speakers are placed. For my use, I did put the volume of the rear speakers up to 12, which is the maximum point, and I left the subwoofer at 10, which is again 2 points below the maximum to get the best effects. Now, of course, speaking of bass, The Dark Knight is another great example. The Dark Knight Rises, where Batman appears on screen for the first time on the motorcycle chase sequence, all the way up to the end of that chase where he goes in his glider, and the thump of the bass that comes when he exits with the glider is absolutely breathtakingly immersive on this soundbar. Even the surround effects of all the police cars chasing from all around you, we had people who were looking around just to at home who were experiencing the soundbar, and they were really impressed with the sound coming from all different directions. It's just a testament to how Sony has come along over the years to give you a much better surround experience from a single bar and 2 surround speakers. Remember, a year ago we did review the Sony HT-Z9F, which was also a modular soundbar, but the surround and Dolby Atmos effects from that soundbar weren't that great. Moving over to gaming. Now, this is again another place where a lot of games, especially on the PlayStation, are mastered for surround sound. We have games like Uncharted, we have games like Ghost of Tsushima, we also have a racing game like Dirt 5, and in each of these, in Ghost of Tsushima, if there was an archer that is about to shoot you from a particular side, I could hear the sound coming from the surround speaker if the archer was off screen. Even in Dirt 5, when a car was about to come overtake me from the left surround speaker did give out that really loud rumble, just adding to the overall immersion. Even when it comes to music, I mean, we heard a whole lot of genres, from The Weeknd, Daft Punk, to some even Punjabi tunes that need you to tune up the bass. And Sony's sound signature is a very unique one. If you have Sony headphones or a Bluetooth speaker, you know that the bass signature is a very unique, slightly on the heavier side, and you can control this on the soundbar if you need it to be lower, but it does sound really good. Now, Sony's 360 reality audio, there's a lot of music that's mastered in it, but unfortunately we didn't have access to it. But we do have music in Dolby Atmos via an iPhone. We also had it using the Apple TV connected to the soundbar, and overall you do get very good separation between the instruments and the vocals, to the point where, yes, if you do have a party in the house, this soundbar is your best friend. There is a 360 reality audio demo on the soundbar itself, and that really does give you a glimpse as to how good 360 reality audio is when it comes to a surround sound experience, kind of putting you in the middle of an orchestral performance. But yeah, we really need to wait to experience some more 360 reality audio music, which is, Sony's surround sound technology. So while everything to do with the soundbar's performance is absolutely great, we're going to come to the most important question, is whether you should buy it or not. Now, once again, we are going to bring up that price plaque on your screen, and of course, maybe when you're watching this, you can get the soundbar and the surround speakers at a cheaper option. But if you want the absolute creme de la creme right now at launch, when we are recording this video, you are crossing 2 lakh rupees to get the Sony HT-A7000. And that's a lot of money. I mean, we reviewed the Samsung Q950 soundbar some time ago, and for less than $1 lakh, that soundbar also offers some fantastic performance overall. Sure, it has a completely fabric build covering the entire soundbar, which can be a dust and hair magnet, especially if you have a pet. The display is on top, which is not the most convenient location. But when it comes to just the pure performance, that Samsung soundbar is absolutely brilliant as well. So while it's easy for me to say go for the one that fits your budget, what I would actually do is tell you to go and experience these soundbars at a local store near you, if that's possible, because they do offer some stark differences, especially when it comes to the surround sound experience that you get when you consume movies, and of course the performance when it comes to music. Also, if HDMI 2.1 pass-through is important to you, then that's only available on the Sony as of now. But hands down, the Sony HT-A7000 is one of the best soundbars that we've tested so far. There's very little we can say against it, apart from the fact that it's really expensive. But hey, if it fits your budget, then that's definitely one to go for. You can also check out the Samsung soundbar. And as always, you can let us know what you thought of this review in the comment section below. And for more from the world of technology, you can subscribe to the channel. We will catch you in another video. If you have any questions about this device, do let us know in the comments, and I will do my best to answer as many of them as I can. And well, goodbye for now.